Look, let the business dictate the loyalty. Bottom line. What's happening is Rico. Salute to the business committee. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We in here. Hernandez. Hernandez Govan. The trial. Damn. Is it over? Is it over? Hernandez Govan. Not guilty on all charges. Wow. This could appear to be over, to be done, to be it. But we must remember this. Before the trial, the courts made it clear that Hernandez Govan's paperwork would be sealed from the public. They made that announcement. Do not forget that announcement. The paperwork would be sealed. They said that before the trial began. Investigators, I assume, did their job. They followed the investigation. They followed what they found led them to the next inquiry. So, they found out straight drop Cornelius Smith put the work in. Out of all the people that Cornelius Smith could have named in this investigation, he named one person. Hernandez Govan, the person who he used to get the pills from. He said this individual spoke to him about how to get some money, ultimately putting the work in on Dolph, ending that. But they had a list of PRE artists that all had different amounts on their head. How in the hell and how ironic is it that only PRE artists have bags on their head? How wild is that? But separate from that, he say Hernandez Govan gave him the gun. How is it that this gentleman, out of all the people he could select, he selected Govan? Gotta keep that in mind. So he turned him on to the lick, quote unquote, give him the strap to get it done. But all they have is the conversation that Cornelius presents. He's not really in anything that they presented outside of what was said. Now, what is Hernandez Govan's link to the PRE artist? He doesn't have one. Okay, so that means, let's say Jook allegedly turned Govan on to this situation. At this point, he's a part of it. He's even getting a cut of the money. Now, I'm not trying to place the man in jail at all. Not guilty. It is what it is. But you got to consider how he became a part of the investigation as a whole. See what I'm saying? And how did he come up with the money to put the bags on their head? Hernandez Govan say he's out of Memphis. It's a wrap. But if you didn't do anything and you didn't have nothing to do with nothing, you should be good in your hometown, right? And another question is where are you going to go where somebody's not going to try to identify you? The only place that you can become hidden where nobody's even thinking about you is if the police hide you. Put you under their protection. It's a wild situation. But we got to consider that the paperwork is sealed. What has Hernandez Govan spoken about? Did he have an under-the-table deal? Is this just the formalities of the court to get people to relax even more? This is wild. This is wild. And a decent amount of this hangs on the initial investigators. They were unable to present a strong enough case to have him convicted. Now they say that the state's letting it go so the feds can come in. You never know how the law is playing. You never know, and they want you to get comfortable. Now, once Hernandez moves and no one's able to find him, it's impossible to find him. That's something to think about, considering the paperwork is sealed. What are the streets of Memphis saying about this? Because from what I know, everybody's saying Playboy had something to do with the Dolph termination in a major way. But he was found not guilty. How does he feel about that? When you see him speaking outside of the courtroom, he looks concerned. He looks a little worried. He understands that it can get real at any time. So he has every right to feel how he feels, if that's how he feels. He wants to stay alive. He wants to live for his son. That's why he's trying to move, you know. Rest in peace to his daughter. I think he lost his daughter in the midst of this. He said he's been nervous for 4 years since it happened. I wonder why he's been so nervous. On top of that, I wonder why there's not anyone vouching for this gentleman in regards to, he had nothing to do with that. He ain't even that type of guy. They say he was out there. That's what they say. Who knows? Who knows? But he was found not guilty. My question is, do you think the investigation into the Dolph murder execution is done? Do you think the feds may have something and they just waiting to come in? If so, why didn't the state drop the case so the feds could pick it up? Or do they have to come to a conclusion in Tennessee before the feds can pick it up? Who knows? Let me know in the comments. But the question is is, does the investigation stop here? Will they look into CMG? Understand, they still haven't gave the public anything about the Juke murder. See what I'm saying? So are they just following specific steps to close in and make it impossible for all the players who are a part of Dolph's execution to not get away? As I said, you never know how these courts are playing. Let me know what you think about the case, the investigation, because they could be investigating everything surrounding Dolph. CMG artists, plural, the whole nine. It may not be over, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Rico, what the business is.